and easily with lots of assets, and it has like a built-in hierarchical LOD system and stuff like that. Actually, I can start with I will talk some on the LOD system too. So let's get the rock. First of all, I want to have this guy standing up. So, like the search boxes, they're everywhere in Unreal. Use them. So, because you got so much settings. So, writing import, I will get the import transform settings, and I will rotate this guy on X, 90 something, re-import, and I have a standing rock. Unreal a few versions ago bought a automatic LOD systems, which is really good. So a lot of times, especially for like this kind of solid meshes. I mean, for trees or complex, branching and transparent meshes, it will not work so well. But for this kind of solid like rocks and stuff like that, it's really good. So let's just let's make a cancel. LOD 0, LOD settings, number of LODs, and let's do like 4. Apply, and apply. So now I created a bunch of LODs here. LOD 0 is the highest, and it did some automatic thing on this guy. So let's go to the reduction settings. And this one is 100%, so that's fine. Next one, reduction settings, 50%. And next one, reduction settings, 25%. And the last one, 12.5%. So if I do the auto here, let's check the distances. So here I'm on LOD2, so I maybe want to change this. And now they added all these automatic, and sometimes automatic is good, and sometimes you want to fix it. So let's find the distances. Screen percentage, screen size. So like 0.5. So now I'm on LOD 0 all the way here, and there I switch. Well, here is the screen size up here, so that's how much of the screen you're covering. So like aggressive LOD would be to switch even like here at 0.6 maybe, but I think 0.5 for this one is already low res asset. And then go to this guy and do 0.25 maybe. So that's there. And for the last one, 0.1. So that's over here. And just for the fun of it, do like 1% of the triangles, and you have to do apply. So that's a really low res. And I mean, for this guy, this would be, I mean, not super important if you're just making like an environment. I won't judge like on performance for this assignment. It's judge is such a hard word, but I mean it's good to know, and I mean the purpose of this whole thing is to get you a job in the industry. So even smaller maybe. But I mean it can be really good to have to really, if you're interested. I mean that's work on your strength and your weaknesses. Let's find it. Yeah, so like over here, who cares? I mean that's I don't know even if you can tell. It's really good to have like a really low res. I mean, what is this? It's like 10 triangles over here. So then you can have a lot of rocks if you need. Anyway, uh, there's also one more really nice setting for LOD related. Um, I want to put some material on this. Make a checker. Material, M, texture, and I will just hold on T and get the texture, and I will get the checker from the engine content. Yeah, sure. Like that. And there's a setting here that's called dither LOD transitions. It might be on the material instance. Yeah. Let's make a instance. And like I said, like always make instances. Meshes, this guy, get the material, instance, put it down here. And here in the property, material property overrides, this guy, dithered LOD transition. What they will do is we'll create like a simple fade between the LODs. So let's put it here. Can take it away. Actually, I can switch the LOD a bit closer. LOD 1. 0.9. Oh, it's very close. Let's. I just want to make this clear, so let's optimize this guy a bit more. We do 20%. So now we should be able to tell the difference. And also do 0.5 again. It's still not super clear, but I mean at least we can see it here. So It's not super clear. I don't know if you catch it on the stream, but it's a really good. Sometimes for some meshes, it can really reduce the popping of the LODs, and like I said, the setting is in the material instance dither LOD transition, and you can Google it. All right. Foliage Painter. So the settings here. This guy, I mean, they're quite large, so scale here obviously is a good setting. Usually, I mean, your meshes should be proper scale from maybe before you go inside here. Also, if you want to change the ones you already painted, you can use this reapply brush, and then you check these kind of overrides, scaling, and with default to my settings here, you can just paint on them to apply some other settings. So you don't have to remove them and paint them again. I'll get rid of this one. Let's make a landscape. Foliage Painter works on static meshes and on landscapes. They have an automatic foliage growth algorithm, but that only works on landscapes. Foliage meshes. Paint. Of course, density kind of self-explanatory. By default, foliage does not have collision, but oops, stop. Play start. So you have to change one setting to get that. Foliage type, and it's also good. I mean, saving your foliage types, of course, is a time saver. No collision. Block all works. I mean, always set up simplified collision on your meshes. We did this automatically on the import of this one, but you can add the way to work with simple collision for dynamic objects that bounce around or actually simulate physics. You have to have simplified collision, and the way you do it is click this one, display simple collision, and simply like add primitives that you can transform as usual. Also on that, C offset, kind of offset stuff from the ground. Whoops. this, Bauta stones. Yeah, align to normal. Let's paint some on the landscape here. I usually use the, I mean, this is definitely just a matter of taste, but I usually use the tip when I paint landscape because I like, same as coming with the clay buildup. It's nice to get some edges and kind of detail in there for free, or like while you're painting, and rather smooth it out afterwards. So here we have a line to see, and for for like rocks that are lying down or something, maybe you want that, but for like trees, usually you don't want that. Let's get this guy. Turning it off, and they will be standing straight up. This also max slope angle. I mean, if we put that really low, max slope angle. Maybe I can do that in the reapply. Yeah, whatever. Static, baked lighting, movable, real-time lighting. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You have some random rotation settings and all that. This also radius is how close they can be to each other. So now I won't paint at all because I have a really large number here. So more apart, and this overrides the density, I think. And I mean, it's easy. You can get pre-made, but kind of the point of this is to make you see that it's really easy to. Let's find the cube. Okay, the 1 meter cube. Cube. When you're using, I think I said this, but when you're using assets from the engine content, copy them to your content folder, because if you change them, you might mess up something. One thing that's good to know is you can paint multiple assets at the same time. So I mean, if you see this kind of someone painting a forest, it's because you can have multiple assets checked at the same time while painting with different settings and all that. This guy. So I mean, of course, this one is really just covering ground, and also, I mean, don't be afraid to just delete everything. Also, brush size is up here, and as you see now, I only select the guys that I have marked here. So if I want to select these guys, I have to check them there, remove, or press delete. Anything else on this? Paint. But I mean, as you can see, you can have a really large number of assets and still have quite good performance. Also jumping out of this guy. F11 is the key for full screen. And I mean, to me, I think, I mean, of course, if you're gonna make mobile games, optimization is very important. But like nowadays, I work quite high res a lot of times because I don't want to be hindered by um, the too much technical issues on the kind of design phase. It's more like it's almost like being concept artist. I mean, um, a lot of times that you're gonna have a bit of that too. So I really encourage people to work loosely and kind of not get caught up in all the technical stuff too much. Like have fun, have fun, have a playtime when you try to design stuff. I mean, this is quite cool. I mean, I get inspiration to make kind of really like a dump or something when I see this. And of course, I mean, if you wanna um, for a real-time mobile game, you could never have like these kind of instances. And now I'm running like dynamic lighting too. But is nothing wrong with having some fun, and you can always kind of export stuff, rebuild it, or just I mean, it's not. It's good to have distinguish the different phases of creativity. So like, uh, I mean, don't get too kind of the kill your darlings thing has to do with this. Uh, if you look at something too much, you're gonna get attached to it. So sometimes it's like really good to just throw it all away, or maybe like save a new version and change it all around and see if it's better because you get used to it. Like, oh, it's supposed to be like this, and you get kind of uh, it gets like kind of too familiar. Um, maybe it's supposed to be like a lot more dramatic. Okay, so questions. Have you had any problems? Are there any questions on the kind of the gray boxing phase of things, or is it kind of completely obvious? Uh, Maybe I want to touch on the. I know I'm a bit like here and there, but I mean, you can write that too. But I mean, to me, um, this is such a large subject, and I don't want to just do this is how you make like a little forest scene, and half of you don't want to like 90% don't want to do that. So I want you to come with like what do you want to do? Like I mean, how would you approach like I mean, I really like feedback and like what do you want to learn? I mean from landscape to um, advanced asset creation in Houdini or I mean ZBrush. Um, Lighting. Actually, the new since I covered the Foliage Painter, I will touch on the new environment system in Unreal. The G key is really nice in Unreal. It's the kind of game view, um, and it removes all the kind of widgets and whatever. F to frame, not working. Also the kind of the environment or the lay with exponential height fog is I think one of my favorite things in Unreal. Also, lots of favorites. I have lots of favorites, but Play start. But I mean, because a lot of times you rush through the design stage, and what that will result in is that you will spend a lot of time on a scene that you think is boring, and you don't learn much from. So um, this up here is the world or local space switch, if you haven't found it. Visual effects, exponential height fog, and the exponential height fog is compatible with the new environment system. So, and atmospheric fog is not. So, go away. And you don't need this. Actually, so let's actually sky. The new sky is called Sky and Atmosphere. SkyAtmosphere. Um, and you will need for most in real-time engines rendering happens on polygons, even if it's kind of fog and stuff like that. So you will need some background. You will need like at least an um, black inverted sphere or something. Let's make one. Sphere. Polygon. Scale 100. Frequency 8. Reverse. And FBX out. Inverted sphere. Sphere radius 100.fbx. Save the disk. Unreal. Import it. Scale. Yeah, so I usually keep scale on 100 always for no generate collision. This is actually one thing that happens sometimes. There's so many like small little things that can happen. Like if you have collision on your environment sphere on, you will be kicked out. So you will spawn and either not spawn at all depending on setting, or your pawn or player will be kicked out of the universe and just falling down outside in the void. So no collision on the environment sphere. Um, let's go now, ISD. No light. Lights, directional light. Um, be a bit bigger. And I mean, of course, you need would like smooth normals on it too. Directional light, and this needs to have a sky atmosphere checkbox there. All right, so the new sky and atmosphere tries to simulate atmosphere and the, you know, why the sunlight is red when the sun goes down. I mean, red is longer wavelengths or like lower frequency than blue light, which is higher frequency, shorter wavelengths. So the reason why sunlight is red at dusk or dawn is because it travels and is slowed down by the atmosphere. So this is what's it has. It has three different methods of faking this. So three different kinds of fog cannon. And it looks really good. Now I think maybe I don't need this guy. No. And it's real time. So if you're doing photography, I mean, maybe you heard of the golden hour, and it's the hour after dawn, like the first hour when the sun is up and the last hour before the sun goes down. And so creating an environment like this when the sun is at the zenith is a tough challenge. I mean, of course, I mean, if you have, of course you can do that, but it's it's a lot easier to create something that looks good in the reason it's called the golden hour. So this is the basic, the kind of default settings on the new SkyAtmosphere. Let's find the light, direction of light. What am I missing here? Uh-huh, I have a search. So of course you can increase it intensity. Also, there's been questions on like third-party assets and all that, and I mean, of course, you need to be able to create assets from scratch, but also I think it would be a bad training if you don't learn to use all the available stuff. I mean, you shouldn't have to invent the wheel, in my opinion. Like the results matter. Fog density. But I mean, like changing. I love silhouettes or like skylines and stuff like that. But I mean, you can change so much with like atmosphere and light. It's and this is what I like about or really love about with like working with Unreal and real time in general. That you can actually, I mean, you can see what you see is what you get. So you can really fine tune your settings. Um, and also, I mean, to me, I did character animation and rigging for 8 years. It was in my like first part. Not only characters, also rigged cars and did like special effects and stuff like that. But I mean, it's so much work for kind of a little fun. Even if I love animation, but environment art to me is an opportunity to have a lot of fun. And I mean, if you want to create like 5 different environments, I mean, do it. Um, and kind of another thing I learned from a colleague is go extreme and then dial back. So like, don't be scared of kind trying really large numbers, or I mean really extreme situations, it's good to know where the limit is. I mean, if you do too much, oh yeah, then you go back and you kind of figure out like, yeah, this is the kind of most amount of contrast or color I can have in a scene before it gets really ugly. Or um, uh, SkyAtmosphere. So I mean, try all this. There's a really good um, uh, Unreal Inside with the Shore de Jong, um, Young Sky and Atmosphere. This one, I think. Yeah. Copy, put in here. I recommend everyone to have a look at this one. Um, yeah. Also, there was some questions and about general um, like getting started in Unreal um, tutorials. I haven't had time to look at that yet, but I am working on the assignment. Actually, I was this morning. I was sitting before I started this lecture. I was writing on the assignment. I posted just for the you know to be official about it, an exercise which is the gray box environment. Um, I mean, this one here to me could be a gray box environment. So I want you to don't feel uh, like threatened or like intimidated by the assignment. I mean, you could make a gray box of an apartment scene in like an hour and then completely discard it and do a racetrack scene or a outer space environment, or so um, and there's no, I mean, there's two in learning. I think there are like in a three modes of which one is good. I mean, there's the panic mode where you think you're kind of completely overwhelmed and think, oh, I'm never going to finish. It's going to be really hard and I'm going to fail and all that. You get scared and you will not be able to produce any, like, you will not be creative or relaxed. Um, and there's the kind of bored mode when you're kind of in your comfort zone and you're kind of only doing things that you already know how to do. So you will not learn anything new. And then you have the in-between zone where when you challenge yourself or you're challenged, but you're still kind of confident that it's going to work out. So another piece of advice that I got from a former pro skier, a girl that was like really good at skiing downhill, and she got the question like, how can you possibly be in control when you're like flying out from a like a really steep slope? And she said, I'm not, but I know that over there I can regain control. So um, to be in a creative um, challenge is a bit the same. It's like, yeah, you're not going to be like completely certain what's going to happen all the time. Sometimes you get to just throw it out there and see what happens and trust that you will regain control like eventually, or in a, or I mean, if it doesn't work out, like save it for the future and or throw it away and try something new. Okay. I mean, it's really easy to create alien atmospheres. It's like monsters. It's much easier to create monsters than create like beautiful things, in my opinion. It's not true for everyone, but it is for me. I really like this one. Um, maybe we should take a pause here, and we go again at 11. So get some coffee or tea or hot chocolate or something, and I will talk about refining assets and creating high quality, yeah, like kind of more like your final assets, and yeah, try to actually create a like stalagmite high res thing. Um, all right, and don't forget to post your questions and feedback. All right, thanks.